Good morning and welcome. This morning I wanted to go over some of the new features I've added to my exit ticket formative assessment project. So this is an additional video to some of the other projects I put out there, but I made some enhancements to this. So let's take a look. This is just our info page. One of the things that you need to start with is putting in your Google Drive folder where you want the files to be stored. You put that in here, it extracts the ID, and then we use that in the script. So to make this easier, all the teacher needs to do is write their tests. So the important piece, if you wanted to write a Unit 4 test, maybe give yourself a space here, and then be sure to use Unit 4 in all of the lines that are going to be the test for Unit 4. You'd want to take this and convert this to Unit 4 and paste it in here. Give it a title, maybe continue to use the correct answers, and then write your questions and your answers. You do that all here on the tests page. On the roster page, you use this to create your list of students, and when you run the script add bulk users, it reads through the list of students that you have here and creates a sheet for each one of those students. The users page then is how you track which students you've already created a sheet for, and you can open up their sheet directly from this page. The user sheet is what the script uses to push out new tests and also to make it's used when you create a new student. User input is where we are able to select our tests. So for instance, once we've written a test, we can just come to the user input sheet and we can use this drop-down menu and switch our tests. And notice it, in this case, it pulls in the correct question along with the correct answer. So there's Unit 1, here's Unit 2, here's Unit 3. Now let's take a look and see which unit we've pushed out. So here's an example. Here's Pam Berger and here's Megan Short. So you can see we've pushed out, in this example, we've pushed out this unit, but let's say we want to push out Unit 1. So let's see how some of this scripting works. Right now, I would first of all take a look here at Pam Berger and Megan Short and Tom Turkey. I have 3 of these opened up. You can see they're all on this particular test. So if I come here and I want to push out a new test, I go to my utilities menu and I update the questions. The script is running, and you'll watch here as Pam Berger and Megan Short, and there's Pam's got the new questions, Megan's got the new questions, Tom has the new questions. Now let's say that we want to get some answers from these students. Let me just go ahead and copy these questions here. Well, let me do it from over here. I think I'll grab the correct answers from here. Except I need to grab the correct answers for Unit 1. It's the one we just put out. Let's go ahead and copy that. Just for the sake of making this easier, I'm going to paste these correct answers for these students and go ahead and paste those answers. So imagine your students are taking this test and they've just finished. Then what we do is come back here to the user input, and I now want to get the answers from the student. So I click this button here. It's running a script. It's going out to each individual student and pulling in their answers. And you can see I pasted in the correct answers. So Tom and Megan and Pam all have the correct answers. Now we are ready basically to push out a new test. But before we do that, what we want to do is archive the student data. So let's come over here to Tom Turkey, and let's take a look at his archive. You can see that every test that he's taken is archived back here. So let's look at this. I'll come over here and I will run the utility and archive the student tests. Come back over here to Tom, and you'll see it pops in this test that was just taken with the answers that he gave. So the student has an archive of the test they've taken. We can see the same is going to be true of Megan on her archive, and the same is going to be true of Pam Berger when we take a look at her archive. So that's the archiving feature. And then the other piece that we want to do is on our summary, as a teacher, we want to keep track of this data. So let me pull in the data that we have here for this test, and this test is the Unit 1. I would add a new test here, or basically pull in another summary. You can see basically I'm taking this data, copying it here. The one last step I would do to make it look nice is highlight these two rows, hit my paint roller, come down and highlight these two rows, and I get all my formatting that I want there. And there's the results of this new test. And also, I could also highlight this data here and hit the paint roller, and then come down on this data here on these students that took the test and do that, and that's going to give me my conditional formatting showing correct and incorrect answers. So in summary, this is our info page. We have to work with that one piece there. We write our tests. We create our student sheets with the roster and the add bulk users. This is a list of our users. This is the sheet that automatically updates with our new tests when we change it here on our unit. And then finally, we have a summary sheet that keeps track for the teacher of how students did on each test. You could make a copy of this and see how it works for you.